So I'm thinking, just as I go, I'm wondering about something. I'm wondering, why did nature make sex so enjoyable? Now I'm talking about from a man's point of view for now, just to be clear. Why did nature want men to crave sex and desire sex a great deal and make men organize their lives around pursuing attractive women so he could have sex? I'm thinking there must be a reason why nature made sex so enjoyable. Nature could have made sex just a chore to do, like having a bath or something, brushing your teeth. It could have made sex have no enjoyment at all. It could be just a chore that you do, like going to the toilet, to achieve the end of having babies. But nature decided to make sex very enjoyable for men. And in some cases, maybe most cases, it makes the pursuit of sex the main thing in life for a man to be doing. So I'm wondering about this. I'm wondering, why did nature make sex such a high priority and so enjoyable? Because it doesn't have to be so enjoyable to work, but nature did. And it seems, this is just thinking as I go, it seems that nature wants babies to happen, even if the man doesn't want babies to happen. It wants men to pursue sex and not be too concerned about babies. It basically wants to encourage the production of babies and wants the pursuit of sex to be the main goal. But the real goal are babies. But in a man's mind, he's not thinking about babies when he has sex with a woman. He's thinking about the sex. And babies are a consequence. And sometimes they're unintended consequences. Sometimes they're unwanted consequences. But the way it goes. So I do think it is interesting why nature made sex so enjoyable and so desirable. Is it the case that if sex didn't have any pleasure associated with it, that there wouldn't be enough babies, maybe? Maybe the effort and the difficulty of raising children is such that if it was just a job to do to create children, rather than something enjoyable so that babies would happen even if unintended, could it be that if the pursuit of babies was just a chore, there wouldn't be enough babies? Maybe it just wouldn't happen as often. Maybe there'd be far fewer people in the world if sex was not enjoyable. So I think it's interesting why nature made things like this. And I'm wondering what the birth rate would be like if it was just a chore. I haven't thought very much, this idea has just come to me now. So I don't know how to judge that. But initially I'm guessing that the birth rate would be much lower than it is now if sex was just a chore. But there are many more children because sex is so desirable. So I need to think more to try and understand why things are the way they are. But I'm wondering also, how many children who were born, how many were unintended and how many were intended for sure? I don't know how to even begin to understand the statistics on that. My first thought is that I don't think I have a first thought. I don't know for now whether most children are intended or most were unintended and they just happened. I just don't know how often people have sex with the intention of getting babies and how often they have sex just for pleasure. It seems obvious that sex is mainly for pleasure, but then children result, but how often is that the intention? I think it's interesting, and I will think some more, try and work out whether most children who are born are intended or most incidental. I think that's interesting.